I feel like we need to claim eldership back. We need to claim that, you know, the postmenopausal woman has so much power when you break it down and you look at like the brain changes that happen to us. Like you should fear us. Like
Mindy, I think that's what it is. I actually think that I do. I actually think because you can easily impress a younger woman more often than not every time. More often than not, a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, maybe even early 40s is more easily impressed than a woman who's been through some shit, than a woman who's arrived at this place of agency. You can't impress her as easily. She's going to say what she really means. And so I think what we actually fear is the power of a woman in midlife and beyond, because she doesn't give any F's anymore. And she's going to really tell you what it is that she wants and needs in her life and this relationship. And for a man who's not doing any of his own work in his life, that's going to feel exhausting. That's going to feel really hard to keep up with. So I feel like, you know, I've had women say to me, oh, it's easy for you to say because you've been married for 28 years. If you got divorced, your husband left you, you would run out and color your hair. You'd start getting Botox. And I said, as a matter of fact, not only would I not, I would double down on not doing it. And here's why. Right. If I'm somewhere in the world, Mindy, and a man is attracted to this, then we may have a possibility of a conversation. I am not an energetic match for a man who needs me to look 35 when I'm 55. I have no interest in being with a man like that. My husband, when he started aging, he's 6 years older than me. It was a non-event. Let's just say that. It wasn't even an event. Like, am I going to color my hair? What am I going to do about these wrinkles? It didn't even cross his mind. Life just continued. And then a lot of women around me, as we were starting to approach that age, everybody was starting to whisper, like, what are you going to do? How are you going to handle it? I'm like, handle what? What are you talking about? Like,
right.
And so I made that declaration, like, I'm just going to let Mother Nature take her course. I trust that Mother Nature knows what she's doing. We've been doing this for as long as time, just like birthing babies and breastfeeding and so many things. I greatly trust the wisdom of a woman's body. And so I am in beautiful trust. And I see it as every day a new discovery. And being able to go to the mirror and seeing the silver or seeing the new lines. Again, we can make aging mean whatever we want. I've decided to make it mean one of the most beautiful gifts I unwrap every morning. We can go to the mirror and decide, what story do I want to tell? I've created the most epic love story, Mindy, with my aging. And for that reason, I'm in love with it. I feel the power of it when I walk into a room, because I know that I'm a representation of something that the world has said, don't you dare be that old and that free. Don't you dare love yourself that much.
Love this.
Don't you walk into a room and love the way you're aging. And then how dare you put it on display proudly. Oh, that's why I think it threatens other women, because women say to me a lot of times in my DMs, you know, I've had women write litanies of emails to me. You know, I really feel like that reel that you did was very shaming for women who get Botox. And I'm like, well, according to Eleanor Roosevelt, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. So if you feel shame when you listen to that reel, that's the work for you to do. Because the only time I feel triggered is when there's a deeper message for me to unpack for my own life.
Yes.
Right? So you're not going to watch that. If you love getting Botox, you're not going to feel affected by my work. Yeah. You're going to be like, oh, not for me. She's not the person for me. And just go on to the next. But if you take the time to come into my DMs, I know that something is stirring inside of you. There's probably a more beautiful truth for you if you're willing to get honest enough and sit with it.
Oh my God, that is so beautiful. And you know, it's interesting, as you were talking, I was thinking about during the pandemic, my sister who lives in Boston and we live in California said to me, will you take a picture of mom's hair color so that we can see what hair color we are heading towards, because my mom colors her hair. And at that moment, I was like, I never even realized that. I don't know my mom's real hair color. Like, yeah. And so I did. I took a picture because her roots were growing out and I sent it to her. I'm like, here you go. Here's what we're in for. And without that, there's a little bit of female connection you're missing, you know? Yes. Like if you look at the way many cultures pass wisdom down through the women, If we are just completely freezing aging, I believe we're missing out on the wisdom getting passed down that can come, again, from a visual expression of aging.